What's up, everybody? We're here today to take a deep dive into the mutant, the myth, the legend Pyro. This is the first video of this kind, and I'm really excited to sort of dig a little bit deeper in some of the characters that I really love. And I thought Pyro would be a great character to start with because he's really simple. He's a simple character. There's not a lot to him, which is both sort of a blessing and the curse. So I wanted to go over some of his pros and cons just right off the bat. So like one of the first pros, like I said, simple. He doesn't have a ton of strings. He doesn't have a lot of confusing special moves. Like everything sort of works how you'd expect. Um, there's not a lot to think about, which means, if you are playing this, you can sort of uh, you can use your brain, you can put your brain power elsewhere. He's only got, a couple of moves. Very few low strings. He has some great normals, a couple of great normals. So you can just think like, I need to hit these buttons. Um, he has great range on key normals, stuff like back two, down two, forward one, stuff like down forward three. Really, really great range on some key normals that are going to be the buttons you're pressing to blow up your opponent. Um, He's got some good throws, surprisingly. Forward throw and back throw all let you get extra damage, and air throw also lets you do a little extra something at the end. So you can always like add a little bit more damage on because throws give you a hard knockdown. Um, he has a very solid level two. This is forward 1+2. It hits OTG, and that flame. There's sort of an effect that a shockwave, almost like avalanche, um, that allows for some extra damage. It works less well if you're against a wall, where like Cyclops' level 2 is like that canned animation. Doesn't matter how close you are to the wall. You actually need space for that shockwave to do the full damage. You also have this one, which is sort of a jack of all trades. It does a bunch of hits, catches them, does a decent chunk of damage for a level 2. Um, he's got some solids level 2 supers. Um, his level 3 is fine. It's fine. We'll show that off in a little bit. He has incredible aerial presence. His jumping aerials, stuff like jump 3, are really, really, really good. His jump 3, jump 2, jump down 2, jump 2, jump back 2, like all have incredible range. Even jump 4 has some pretty solid range if you can land it low enough to the ground. So like just okay, right? Not only that though, he's probably one of the few characters who can sort of zone from a distance, or he can like toss these projectiles at the opponent. um, but he can sort of jump back and you think he's going to do that, and then suddenly he's dashing into your face with flame tumble, which can be nuts, right? So he can very quickly close the distance from angles that are difficult to counter at a moment's notice. So yeah, like he's an interesting character, and his air mobility is definitely the best part of him, which is kind of annoying because it doesn't really fit the pyro fantasy of like creating incredible shapes out of flame and shit. Um, he also has easy CCR and easy relaunches. So also yeah, the other cracked thing is yeah, he has the most busted meter gain in the game. So we're going to go into this a little bit more. Let's just quickly, but I do want to show it off just because it's so nuts. Um, we're going to set our supers to off. Just like watch how much meter we build off of that. So that was half, but watch this. That was almost a full meter from one special move. That's actually glitched. It is coded as single normal hits instead of a special hit. So that is a multi-hit special. Only built a chunk of meter. But this friggin' move, uh, Flame Tumble, just builds a nuts amount of meter. You can actually go from level 0 to level 4. So you can build a full stick of butter and land a level 4 in one combo. It's crazy. It's super glitched and very broken, but very fun at the same time. So he's got some good things. Some simple normals that you don't have to think too much about. You're just looking to hit some key buttons, maybe when there's a whiff. He has some good throws if you do get in range for throws. He has, ways to sort of get in quickly when you may not necessarily think that he's going to be doing that. Got some really solid all around level 2 supers, so that means you basically always have a super stocked. And you know, uh, also I love this one. It actually fits his character, which is cool. And he has easy CCR, so like that's great. His cons though, he has a lot of his pros are great, um, but his cons sort of they might not be as numerous, but they are more problematic uh, than like the pros are good. So specifically, his simple strings he can't cancel into anything safe. So like stuff like this, super minus. Let's actually set. I think he's set to auto. So like just super minus. That's like anything that you do as Pyro. If you commit to a string and they block, you are dead. Because this game is a Kosogi. You know, it's the shitty game where like you will die for messing up. So, you know, so many characters in this game have touch of death off of a jab. If you mess up, you are dead. Not only that, because he has so many simple strings, they're very easy to counter because off of jab, he can only do this or that. So he could do this into like a combo. But again, that's are you gonna take if you're looking to counter, you could do that, or you could just block. You know that he has no low option. He can't cancel into like low flame. Just block and then punish. So very difficult, I think, to use strings effectively with this character. He's much more a whiff punish and zone character. Um, yeah, again, no cancels. Everything's unsafe. He has low damage, like very low damage, like Nightcrawler level string damage, like just not very powerful. He has low defense. He has Toad level defense. So I think it's like the fifth worst in the game. Um, and so he has a bunch of moves that are sort of like invisible. So like the range is really difficult to tell. Like where did that hit? So it's difficult to know. Like I mean, I guess your opponent doesn't know, and this is partly a problem with the Xbox, like just the VFX on the Xbox. But like that disappeared. That did not show up on the screen, right? His level 3, I actually don't know where this, like I have to guess where that lands because there's no good visualizer for it, which is kind of nuts. Like, what is that? What happened there? I don't know. So there's that. And not only that, like, so I feel like because he just doesn't have that many options, he is harder to use than a lot of other characters, simply because his options are so limited. And then his supers. Most of his supers, again, this is level 1. It can only combo off of this, right? Like, what? And it's level 4, really expensive. It's level 3, really weird. And he also has an aerial level 3 that, like, it doesn't do the same amount of damage that a normal level 3 does. So why would you ever do that as opposed to this, which does 10,000, almost 11? So there's stuff like that where like he only has a couple of reliable supers. He's so punishable. No cancels to make him safe. So there you go. Pros, cons. Let's talk about some stuff. So first, let's talk strings, because he does have some good stuff going for him. So he has 1-3-4. This is both of these are lows, so the kicks are lows. You can also just do 3-4 if you want to lead with the low. This puts him in range for like some kind of tick throw, right? You can throw from this distance, which is pretty decent. He has a couple of so he has a low starter, which is cool. Low starter, you literally only get this. You can't do anything after that. You could throw, right? They're put into a mix up because you're a little bit plus. Let's see, what else does he have? So uh, one of the cool things about this character is like they did sort of the fantasy of like using the flames from his flamethrowers. They did translate that into all of his hard punches. So like down 2 is really good. Actually, let's talk. Are there any other specific strings that we're looking at here that are really good? What is my wife texting me? Pictures of our beautiful children. So yeah, he has like some normals that are okay, but it's really his hard punch normals that are really good. So stuff like this, which allows for a jump in afterwards, a jump in combo, which is pretty great. So that's 2-2. You can get forward, which is again a stun. and a hard knockdown that's forward 2-1-1. I just like the way this looks. This is forward 2. Oh, okay. Let's go. We're out of the bar. This is Pyro's specific stage. This is an Xbox exclusive stage. So that's forward 2-2. This is forward 2. It's kind of this really weird dash. It's long range, but landing it at the optimum distance is funky. So I think this is, like, what does this do? This is eh, eh. That's one of his kick strings. He does have one longer string. Also, this is kind of cool. This is the restaurant. I don't know why we're here. His longest string is 1 back 2-2-3-3 or 4-4. So 1 back 2-2, and we're out again. This is actually the best place to fight, in the alley. So here we go. Like, we're in the alley now, but that's a string, right? That's one of his longest strings, and there's not many mix up there. It's literally just like that's one punch and then all mid kicks. So very easy to counter, very easy to block, obviously, because he doesn't have many lows. Speaking of low strings, man, he's got nothing. He has like this doesn't combo. Like, this is his only real combo. This here. He has this and then into that. So this is down 1-2. This is down 1-3. Down 1-3. Like, nothing else. That, like, the down 1-3-4 doesn't combo. He also has this really weird, like, down forward 3. So I think, like, there's just not much in the lows for him, aside from 3-4, which doesn't cancel into anything. You can't do much about it. Aerials are where it's at. Like he wants to be jumping. Like, he wants to be jumping. You can do cross ups with flame. You can do cross ups if you hit the right hit them the right distance. You can cause crumple states. So like, his aerials are definitely, his aerial jump ins are like amazing. His that was jump 2. This is the jump down 2. Great range. His jump 1 is actually pretty decent too, and it actually is really solid. It can help with his infinite. I love showing off this infinite. I'm really proud of it. I created this. This is my baby. So yeah, this is our infinite with him, but like, it's all off that one of those jump ins, right? So let's go over to Air Series. So key normals. Down 2-2, really, really good. Boom, right? This has great range and leads to an air seek. Minus on block, obviously, because everything is. Back 2, really great range. Down forward 3, or down forward 2, really great range. And like, pretty good pushback too. There is forward 2, forward 2-2. Actually, like, forward 2-2 or 2-2-2 is really cool. It's just a cool move. I like using it. It's better if he's facing you, so we can get the full splat. Bam! Like, that just looks cool. That's like a unique animation for him. And that's really what you're looking for, the 2s. You're looking for the down 2. You're looking for the back 2. You're looking for the jump 3-2. Like, jump 2 and then into flame. Like that. Like, that's what you're looking for with this character. And if you're not looking for that and jumping in, you're sort of like, you're sort of messing around. You're just jumping away, trying to, hit the enemy, and annoy them and pester them from a distance, and then sort of close the distance when they least expect it. So there's that. Let's talk Air Series, because he has a pretty solid Air Series. You can do 1-1-2-2, or 1-1-3-3-4, 1-1-3-3-2, 1-1-3-3-2-4. That. You can also end it with a back 2, like that. And then his air throw, like I mentioned, is pretty solid. You get a free level 2. Oop. Let's try that again, and we'll just end with an air throw. You get a free level 2, which is great. You get a free level 2, I feel like, off of everything. Wham! For really nice damage. So Air Series, really solid. I really like his Air Series. It feels intuitive, and it feels good. And let's talk what you actually want to be doing in the air. So his CCR is really good. Rather, it's really easy. Let's see if we can do that a little bit better. It's just 1-3, 1-3-2, 1-3-2. Oh. Okay, so there's no. This is actually really frustrating. There's no neutral. There's no reset on the training mode, so you just have to like maneuver Havoc wherever you want them to go. Um, it's very annoying. Okay, that's a CCR. I'm not doing it appropriately. There's a specific timing for it. Let's see if we can get it down. Hmm. That knee's tricking me up. Regardless, it's not too bad because what can you do? You can actually supplement with his flame tumble. So what do I mean by that? So, and then you can just do this. Right? Then you've got some decent damage, you've built some incredible meter, and this kind of shows that didn't do the full damage. Um, oh, I forgot to show off. So yeah, that is, how do we get him away from, oh, there we go. So down throw is actually really good. Does 4,000, this is front throw. And you can get a couple extra hits from down forward 2, which is his flamethrower. But, let's see, down throw is really solid, like 4,000 damage on top of that, right? So down throw is really good. So there you go. You've got Flame Tumble, which is really good for keeping up the CCR and building insane amounts of meter. I actually want to show that off now because we're talking about our air stuff. So let's do our supers to off. His level 4 is not good, in case you were wondering. So this is. Let's do it this way because I'm so much better rolling this new thumbstick or this new controller from this angle, from this position. Right, so like we just built 2 full meters. So there you go, like tons of meter from that. You can land whatever you want after it. You can go into a straight level 2. One of my favorite combos just because it's so simple. It's not the best combo. I like it so much because it's the first one I like did with this character. And you have them land on top of the flamethrower. It just feels good. Not great damage, but it's a fun combo to use. So there you go. You've got some good stuff. And then obviously like this. So you have 3 versions of the Flame Tumble. I guess we'll just start with our specials in the air because these are the ones you're going to want to be using the most. So you have 3 different versions. So, well, 4. You have the light kick version, so you have the down forward 3, which sends you down at oh my gosh, at a downward angle. You have down forward 1, which does a slight rising angle. You have down forward 3 or down forward 2, which sends you at a super high angle. And that's great for actually like getting the opponent higher into the air. And then you also have this, which is sort of like an immediate explosion. So like you can do stuff like this. Let's see if I do this appropriately. You can link 3 of them together in the air. That was almost it. For just absurd amounts of meter gain. And you even get a down forward 2, or you get a level 2 super off of that. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in the air as this character. You can also link, I believe you can link, and the like that you can't see it, but I threw a projectile. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot we have this move here. So we have he has a couple of other special moves that are just like back forward forward, and one of them is this is like an embarrassing move. The Screaming Skull. So you can get about 8 hits before you're too far away. You've knocked them too far away, but it's like 6,000 damage for free. And it's not bad if they are up against an invisible wall or a soft wall, and they won't get stunned against it. This is an infinite. So like that's kind of neat. I wonder, will this break? Let's see. Will Let's see if we put him up against the trash can. The trash can doesn't work. Okay. So yeah, there's this. Is this a soft wall? Yeah, it is. Let's step back a little bit further. So this is another infinite. So he has two infinites that I know of, probably more, just because there's so much wild shit in this game. But so we talked about air normals. We have this where we're throwing stuff at the enemy. Um, it's homing to a degree, right? It will like sort of track the opponent, but it goes at a very specific angle. So it's not the best, but it gets you out of harm's way. You're in the air. There's not a lot of characters that can compete in the air. They can super your face. A lot of characters can jump up and just super you, but they have to waste meter. Anyway, so those are our supers. Oh, also, I really like the drag down on, because then suddenly you're in perfect range for a level 3, which is cool. So the drag down on the lower on the descending flame tumble is pretty cool. All right, so what else are we showing off? We have shown. Oh, let's go over his moves on the ground, his special moves on the ground. So he has some decent. Like this is safe to everything but counter. Like this is one of the few safe options, but it's really slow to come out, and it's really linear, right? Like you watched Havoc just dodge it, just with a quick sidestep. It comes out really slow, but it does decent damage, and you can OTG with it. So it's not like terrible, right? And on Wake Up, it hits really meaty, so that's maybe an option, which is pretty cool. You can also, I think you can combo into it. Like it does create a bounce state, which allows you to do other things, like get a forward 2 after it. So like, is there a way to do this? So like, let's do this. So you can use it as like a combo, as combo filler. It's not a great option, but it's there if you want to use it. What else? So those are really his special moves. He also has a couple that are sort of like anti-walk. This move here is not good. It's down back 1 and down back 2. It sort of throws to the left and the right. It's just not very good. It hits OTG. It does a little stun. It's just not very good. The range isn't great. It takes a while to come out. I don't know. It just doesn't feel that great. Like I feel like this has better horizontal coverage. Just throw out like the down 2 at like good ranges. So there's that. So we've gone over all of that. I think there are a couple of strings specifically that I don't think I talked enough about. Oh, this move here. So 1 back to 1. This move here is like, that is sort of like, that's the bread and butter, I think, for Pyro in this. Forward 1 in general is pretty good, mostly because, and it can miss, the second hit can miss. This is an overhead. That first hit is an overhead. So this is an immediate air seek. Has decent range. Yeah, so it's like, it's pretty good. And this is sort of the, if you're at the distance where this is going to whiff, you'll need to like know, because at this distance you should be using back 2, right? But if you're hunting for that overhead, you need to be a little bit closer. You need to be a little more risky. So I did want to show that off before I forgot, before we move on to supers. But supers are pretty great, mostly because of level 2. So level 1 is like, I'm not quite sure why they, like, why? I'm just not sure why. I'm just not sure. I think it is neat, but the Oki options in this game are so bad. If you'll notice, a lot of times enemies can actually just like get up through fireballs. Like it's a common problem in this game where projectiles will just disappear. They just like won't exist on screen anymore. And I'm not really sure why. So like I'm sure that an incredible, a Pyro main would be able to break this down and be like, no, it's actually really good. These are the options. But just from a guy who's been playing it, just for a few days and trying to get a really I don't have that nuanced look at the character. Not only that, but it's really situational. Like I think you could use this as like chip damage. You could use it, but again, it's so telegraphed. You could just probably run towards Pyro and be fine. So there's that. Let's turn on our supers again. So you also have one of the best level twos. This is on par with like Cyclops' level two, Havoc's level one, sort of the leaping, almost freeze frame moves. Really, really good. Um, Boom. Right, this is really, really solid. Does respectable damage. It's not as consistent. You need to sort of be like here-ish to get like the most hits, the most damage out of it. But again, these two are like your go-to. You always want to have a level 2 stocked and ready to go, which won't be difficult because you know what? Like level 3, how can you use a level 3? I mean, obviously, any drag down at any point, it's full OTG. If they're on the ground, they're going to get hit as long as they're in a comboable state. If they're not ready to roll, um, right? This is really, really good. One thing, like, there's another. Let's get him into mid-screen again. So annoying that there's no neutral reset. Okay, so let's do his level 3 in the air. It's kind of cool. Like, it looks kind of cool, but it feels really weird. Right? Like you need to, so the best way to hit this is to sort of be really close and sort of suck them into that vortex and draw them as high up as you can. Um, let's see if I can do this appropriately. No, 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 that's not it. So as you can see, there needs to be a specific combo and a specific setup. So something like that, right? But again, you're not doing as much damage as just letting them fall to the ground and using your level 3. The only time I can see this being incredibly useful is just like if you are in a position where you're in the air, the opponent, you've pressed a button, the opponent is supered or something like that, where you're avoiding chip damage on the ground, and you just do this to get away from it. But then again, you just can do this, right? That's a good stalling tactic. Same with this. So I don't know. I don't think it's that useful. It looks cool. Um, that's supers. Counters. Okay, this is weird. This is where, so we already have, actually, let me show this off. I have one more thing to show off with Flame Tumble. Flame Tumble should not be as good as it is. It should not be Pyro's like signature move. This move reminds me of Hellboy in Injustice 2, where like they gave Hellboy such incredible character. He felt like Hellboy. He's a brawler. He punches the crap out of things on the ground. All this stuff, right? And then they give him these leaps and air dashes. Hellboy doesn't do that. That is not a part of who he was. I was so excited for Hellboy, and then I saw he was like leaping around and stuff, and I was so disappointed. I never even really picked him up, despite him being one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Okay, so that is what Pyro is, but it turns out like you know you would have to use that. Let's have block all. Okay, watch this. Watch how much meter we build on chip or on. That was almost a full bar from an aerial. Like that is nuts, my dudes. That is nuts. Look at how much meter we get from that. I think like in general, this is super busted and you should be using it as much as possible. Um, let's see if I can land the combo that I'm like so proud of. Option, auto. Let's see if we can do this. Ah, so that was almost it. You hit the launch, you do another little setup there, and you level 4 when they come down. But even then, you saw that was one combo that is 2.5 meters, almost 3. After the drag down, we could have done level 3. right, into an extremely hurt Havoc for one touch. And that was just like back two is a really good move, but like imagine just landing that off of a jab, off of this, right? There's a lot of stuff that this character can do. So going from broken flame tumble giving you insane chip, uh, not chip damage, but meter on chip and on hit, we have another broken thing. So let me record the opponent very quickly. Okay, so we have Cyclops just doing that. I'm gonna have him do, or Cyclops Havoc. So he has a really solid ground, whatever, ground counter that allows you a free level 2, which is great. You can't complain about that at all. And you can only land level 2 or like a down forward 3, some sort of OTG, because it's hard to do anything after it. They don't really want you comboing out of counters. But it's not so much this that is too crazy. That's like a legitimately good counter. It is his aerial counter that's fucking nuts, and I'm not sure why it works. Yeah, you don't even have to counter anything. You can just jump in a direction. He sprays the air with his flamethrower, and then does his best Green Goblin riding a hovercraft, riding the Goblin glider impression. Now, he is fully invincible the entire time he's in the air. Fully invincible. No joke. So I'm actually going to change some stuff here. I'm going to change me to Pyro, and I'm going to change myself to Havoc to show this off, to just show how nuts this is. I'm going to use Havoc's level 3 nuke, which covers the entire screen. I'm going to show that, yeah, it's crazy. So record opponent. Right? So there's that. We need to set our super. And then I'm just going to show this off. And then we're basically going to be done. All right, let's play our friend here. Like, fully invincible as though he is countering. How nuts is that? It's like he doesn't even exist on the screen, man. How crazy is that? So not only that, it is very hard to even, like, the hitbox for whatever he's doing is absurdly big. And it lasts for forever. So he's not going to hit you out here, but he will hit you like, and again, it's invisible. The hitbox is invisible. Like, I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be like avoiding, but it lingers above his head. It's so let's see if I can do this. And so even if he hits you with it, he has to land, and he still has invincibility frames. So it's very hard to punish this, especially if they're jumping and moving around. It's really hard to get a bead on where they're going to land. So, it's fucking weird. That is a weird thing. And I love it. I love it. It's just so weird. I love that you can still. I love this. I love Havoc. I love this game. You can. I love that you can run up and just 1-1 or yeah 1-1. Oh, game's so good. So Pyro, in a nutshell, he is. He's not as. I want to say that it's hard to really put a qualifier on a lot of these characters because no one has ever played this game competitively at a high level. I don't think I would be particularly good at this game at a high level because I've been playing against a computer for so long. So the stuff that I would do, I would assume would get blown up by an intelligent player. And I think that's where Pyro fails. He does not have enough options to mix up opponents. From a string-based perspective, like he doesn't. His flame spin is or his flame tumble is counterable. Like you can jump into the air, and if you expect he's going to do that, you can counter, and you will knock him out of the air for it. And if you're somebody like Cyclops, you can get a full ground combo, right? You can get a combo into your level 3, really powerful stuff, and it doesn't neuter, right? You're maybe not you're not jumping in the air for this, and you do have to counter things ground to ground, and this is a zero frame, zero recovery, right? The second he touches the ground, he can do whatever he wants. Um, so like his aerial approaches, his zoning not that great. He doesn't have the long range stuff like say Storm or Cyclops. Cyclops is leagues better. Um, he mostly has mid range, and then he has this. Uh, he has the Flaming Skull, which is actually like this is a very passable, right? This is like very passable, but it's very like sidesteppable. You can just sidestep. Um, so he's sort of like this zoner with super busted tools. He's like this mid-range player, mid-range to zoning, with some incredibly busted tools that like he just doesn't measure up to the rest of the cast. And I feel like in general he doesn't hit the character fantasy that if I loved Pyro and I think he's a cool character that I would want. I would expect like a level 4 that doesn't look like fucking garbage. That's the other thing. Like he's very clearly he has a lot of canned animations from other characters, specifically Nightcrawler. Um, he has a lot of moves that like don't really work that well. They don't feel good to use. I think the skull is like probably the one move that like does as despite it being Shang Tsung and really like cheesy, it's like an attempt to create a shape from flame, which is what he's all about. Creating tendrils of flame. Creating, like it would be cool to put people in like firestorms and like a whole bunch of cool stuff like that, and they just don't do that in this game. So the character fantasy for Pyro, I feel like, is really it's off, which is like okay, right? Like this is an exclusive character. This game's 20 years old. If I had bought it and I was excited about Pyro, and I had bought the game with that in mind, I would have been disappointed. But as it stands, what do you do, man? There are other really disappointing characters like Psylocke and Bishop, and the Sentinels aren't particularly interesting. So there's other characters in the game that sort of fit the same. I wish they did more. But at the end of the day, I've had so much fun exploring this character. I think he's interesting. I think his jank is right up there with the rest of the cast and just fucking nuts. And I think he's an interesting addition to the roster, and I'm really glad that I got to play him. Does he measure up to the rest of the cast? I don't think so, from my limited knowledge, but he's been fun. So let me know what you think about this video. If you've made it to the end, congratulations. Like, subscribe, comment. I would love to know what you guys think. I'm going to be doing these for probably all the characters that I love the most. Maybe not every character in the game, but definitely characters like Cyclops and Havoc, for Rogue, for who else do I love? For Juggernaut, for Sabretooth, um, for Mystique probably, and along with doing the playthroughs and the combo videos. Let me know what you like. It's always nice to talk to people about this game. So that's it, gang. I hope you've had fun. Um, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the deep dive with Pyro. Talk to y'all later.